Hey everybody, welcome to In the Red Zone. This is Shaun, I'm Mike. This is our bowl picks basically. If you haven't seen already, I did one. I had to do solo of early games. These games start Saturday, December 22nd, and we're going to pick them all except the semifinals and the major bowl games on January 1st. We'll pick everything else right now. We'll do another video later for those games, and then we'll see how we do and see how it turns out. We've got a lot of games. Are you ready?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm ready. I see a little, little guy.
Yeah,
there.
He's running around back there. He should be watching his iPad while we do this. So anyway, okay, first game, Saturday, December 22nd, Memphis at Wake. This is the Birmingham Bowl. Memphis is a 3.5-point favorite. This is a group of 5 versus a Power 5 school. Who you got in this one?
I like Memphis. They've shown through the years that they're one of the group of 5 schools that can go toe-to-toe with some of those mid-tier, no offense to Wake Forest, but they're not, pushing for a college football playoff berth. So that's what I mean as mid-tier. So I think Memphis is tough enough to, barring guys sitting out. Like, this is another thing is, I haven't had near as much time to really look through and see who, every single school that players are sitting out and everything.
We know the big names, and that's about it. But there are a lot of players, and that makes these picks much harder.
Yeah. So if if you're a fan of one of these schools we pick, and they've got guys sitting out, go in the comment section and let us know, let other people know, hey, if you're planning on betting, which I would not bet throughout bowl season. I just wouldn't.
The only games I would, if I were putting money, it would only be on the semifinals and championship.
Right.
Maybe the Rose Bowl, maybe, but the rest of these bowls, no, because there's so many guys sitting out. There's really nothing to play for. Yeah. I mean, I know people have argued like they love the bowls. I just don't. Most of these players, there's nothing left. I mean, this is an exhibition game. It's really like a preseason game for next year is all it really is. So with that being said, you got Memphis 3.5. I'm going to take Memphis too. Wake's one of those 6-6 teams that probably shouldn't be in a bowl game. I mean, I don't like 500 teams getting in bowls, but if you didn't put them in there, we wouldn't have enough teams to fill the spots. So I think Memphis covers 3.5 for sure. Let's go on the next game. Lockheed Martin Armed Forces Bowl, Houston versus Army. Army 10-2 on the season. Army is a 3.5-point favorite in this, and I'll just say I'm taking Army to win.
Give me the Black Knights. They, De'Aaron King and Ed Oliver are out for Houston.
No surprise about Ed Oliver.
Right.
He hasn't won to play for the last half of the season.
Yeah, get ready for the NFL, whatever, do what you want to do. But give me the Army, because they're not going to be one of those teams that just takes this as a day off. They want to show people, to me, some of those schools that weren't given the respect, like, when people are talking about Oklahoma and they say Army was one of the best defense, that they take that as disrespect.
Right,
I mean, they actually do have a good defense. But anyway, I've got Army in this in a pretty hard-hitting game.
I think they might even run away with it. Houston has had a good offense under Derek King, who isn't playing, but their defense, even with Ed Oliver, has not been very good this year. Right. And Army, and the reality is Houston may not get the ball that many times because Army's going to hold the ball.
Yeah, Army will keep the ball away from Houston enough to get that and to win the spread.
So we both have Army on that one. Next game, Buffalo versus Troy. This is the Dollar General Bowl. Buffalo is a 2-point favorite. Buffalo a 10-3 season. Troy 9-3. I was looking at this one a little bit closely before we started shooting the video, and I know Buffalo is a 2-point favorite, but they got trounced by Ohio University earlier this year. They did win, or they came up 1 point short in the MAC championship game against Northern Illinois, but they were getting blown out in that game and then came back. Troy is a team you don't talk about until they beat your favorite team. Right. And Troy has had a pretty decent season. I know Buffalo's a 2-point favorite, but I'm going to take Troy in this one.
I'm going to see, Buffalo's one of those teams, and they might be an option team if I can remember correctly.
No, they throw the ball a lot. Buffalo does.
I mean, I'm looking at 20 times here. Against Kent State, they threw the ball 20 times. But they also rushed for 57 times. Yeah. I think they might implement a little bit of the option into some of their offense, because I think they're one of 6 schools that do it. I could be completely wrong, and I could be thinking of a different one, but I think Buffalo's one that does it. Give me Buffalo in this. I know the last game, but Bowling Green, and then they got beat by 1 point by Northern Illinois. And Northern Illinois is pretty good in their conference. So I'll take Buffalo to cover the 2 points here.
Okay, next game. is the SoFi Hawaii Bowl. Hawaii versus Louisiana Tech. This game even, so it's a straight up pick basically. And Hawaii's coming off an 8-5 season. Louisiana Tech 7-5. This one's a late game, 9:30. It's basically a home game for Hawaii. You know, Hawaii started early in the season. Cole McDonald, is that his name, quarterback, and then they lost some games, and you wonder like what happened with them. And to be honest with you, I haven't followed them that closely to know. Straight up pick like this, I think, being a home game. A game that's I know they have time, they travel. Louisiana Tech's going to be able to acclimate a little bit to the time, but really being a home game, but being a home game for Hawaii, I'll take Hawaii to win.
I am too. Nobody on Louisiana Tech besides their wide receiver Hardy, forget his first name, but he's over 1,000 yards receiving. Nobody just jumps off the page for them, and Cole McDonald. Just looking at his numbers, 3,790 yards passing, 35 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. That's pretty good. We've seen what he can do, you know, but they were so up and down throughout the year. But I just think, like you said, home game basically. Give me Hawaii in this one.
Okay, next game Wednesday, December 26th. Boston College at Boise, at Boise State, meaning Boise State's the home team. This is the ServPro First Responder Bowl.
This is in Dallas, Texas.
It's in Dallas, okay.
At the Cotton Bowl.
At the Cotton Bowl.
Boise
Boise State is a 2.5-point favorite. You know, Boise State's amazing at home. On the road, a little bit different. I mean, they still are one of the top group of 5 schools that just is hard to beat. And they have winning records every year. Boise State had a 10-3 record this year. Boston College 7-5. Boston College kind of a little bit of a disappointment. We kind of thought they'd be better than what they were. You know, it's hard to pick against Boise State. And the last time I did, I was wrong. Boise State 2.5. I'll take them to cover that. I think they win.
Yeah. Boston College lost their last 3, and I know they're in the ACC. Boise State's in a group of 5.
This is another chance for a group of 5 to make a statement.
It is
against the Power 5.
It definitely is. But they've got, you know, Boise State had 2 out of 3 ranked wins in the last 5 weeks of the season. And granted, those were all group of 5 schools, but I really like that Boise State team. Their quarterback, Ripien, however you say it. He's just really good, and Boston College just kind of disappointed me in the last few weeks of the season.
So you got Boise State.
Boise State, yep.
Okay, Quick Lane Bowl, Minnesota versus Georgia Tech. Tech is a 6-point favorite. Minnesota a 6-6 team. Georgia Tech a 7-5 team. This is Big Ten, ACC. 6 points for Georgia Tech. Minnesota's up and down. They're a team that can play you really well. They can just fall off the radar. You don't know which team's going to show up. Georgia Tech at least is somewhat consistent. 6 points is a lot for Georgia Tech, but I'll take Georgia Tech.
Which I just saw, I guess yesterday, PJ Fleck got a 1-year extension through 2023. It was the weirdest looking thing because it was a 1-year extension through a year in the future. So that could be, you know, something to do with his contract.
He's only on his second year. It's you know, he's got to give him time. Got to give him time. But I'm taking Georgia Tech. Who do you have?
I'm going to take Georgia Tech as well. Man, we don't have a whole lot of
not a lot of difference here.
But just looking at it, Minnesota gives up 170 yards rushing. You got to think they're going to definitely give up more than that in this game with Georgia Tech running the option. So Georgia Tech's another team that can keep the ball away from you. And Minnesota not really putting up a ton of points. I mean, 28. It's okay, but it's not amazing or anything. So I got Georgia Tech.
Okay, Cal versus TCU, Cheeze-It Bowl. I love the name of these bowls. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that we need to scrap some of these, I don't know what does. The Cheeze-It Bowl. Okay. Well, anyway.
What's the only chance Cal and TCU will have to play?
Probably
2 decades.
So Cal is 7-5, TCU 6-6. I didn't know this. Did you know Shaun Robinson transferred?
Whoa, no.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Turpin was kicked off the team.
I knew Turpin was off,
TCU, I'm surprised this is even. I think Cal runs away with it.
Well, Cal has a really good defense, but their offense is not that great. So I think that's kind of what they're looking at. Is even though TCU just lost some players, now they might have been brought down kind of to the offensive level as Cal, and then both their defenses are pretty good. So I'll take Cal in this. I don't know that there was anybody really behind Shaun Robinson that I know they've got somebody coming in. I've heard some TCU players, but they talked about Shaun Robinson coming in after they lost Kenny Hill. So we'll have to see. I'll take Cal, and it's an even game.
Even. Yep.
Yeah. I'll take, and I can't. The over/under is 40 on this. I would go under for sure.
I'd go under that.
I'd go way under. So I'll take Cal.
Okay, next game Thursday, December 27th. This is the Walk-Ons Independence Bowl. Temple versus Duke. Temple 8-4, Duke 7-5. Temple currently a 4-point favorite. Temple is a good football team.
Yeah.
They play in the ACC, and I mean, you guys can all argue with me all you want. The ACC is as good as. They should be They could be a Power 5 conference. AAC. I'm sorry, American Conference, whatever. They could be a Power 5. I mean, you're talking about Cincinnati, UCF, Houston, Temple, UCF. I mean, all these teams are really good.
Don't they play in Eagle Stadium?
Yes.
In Philadelphia.
So. And Temple was right there competing at the end of the season. Temple beat Cincinnati in overtime. Temple was really good. Now I know Duke has had a good season, and 7-5. It's a winning record. But I'm not surprised that Temple's a favorite, and I'm going to take Temple in this one.
Yeah, I believe I've got Temple down as well. Duke. Let's see. Let's just check their schedule. They beat Army. They beat Northwestern, Baylor. They got beat by Virginia Tech, they beat Georgia Tech, got beat by Virginia, Pitt, Clemson, and Wake Forest. So, and I mean, they got destroyed by Wake Forest. I'll take Temple. I think what you're saying is right. You know, they're one of the tougher, probably American athletic conference.
They don't get a lot of respect as being a powerful Group of 5 school because you have Boise State, because you have Utah State this year, because you have UCF. But Temple is right there. They are good.
Have we picked all Group of 5 over Power 5?
I think so far, yeah.
But that's what happens in bowl season. That is what happens.
Yeah, and these Group of 5 schools, you know, these are players who got looked over by Power 5 schools. And they have something to prove.
A lot of those teams aren't ones that are just filled with guys that are going to sit out to be ready for the NFL draft. I mean, some of those Group of 5 schools will have players drafted, but it's not like their entire defensive line is about to get drafted.
They have something to play for. The Power 5, especially a school that's 6-6, what are they really playing for?
Yeah.
I mean, so that's I think one of the reasons why Power 5 schools or Group of 5 schools do so good in the bowl game.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the New Era Pinstripe Bowl. This is Miami versus Wisconsin. Both teams finished 7-5. Kind of very disappointing for both, really. I mean, but last year both were contenders for the playoff.
Yeah.
Miami is a 3.5 point favorite.
Wisconsin was preseason top 10. I mean, they were above OU. They were above a lot of schools that are ahead of them right now.
Yeah, I think Miami was top 10. I think they were 8 when they started. I could be wrong, but anyway, Miami is a 3.5 point favorite. Pinstripe Bowl. Do you know where it's being played? Because I didn't look that up.
This is in Yankee Stadium.
Oh, that's right. That's right, in New York. Ooh, man, weather could be a big factor in that one. You know what? I'm going to take Wisconsin only because they're used to that cold weather. They're used to playing in that.
Yeah.
You're talking about December 27th. Weather is not good in New York this time of year.
Yeah.
The kids in Miami, I mean, those guys, they're used to 80 degrees and beaches. I mean, it's an outdoor. It's not a dome. I mean, I'll take Wisconsin.
This will be our first
second switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, but I'm going to take Miami. I think the team with the better defense will win. Okay. And I think Hornibrook, I don't know. I don't like him as a player very much. So,
no. But Jonathan Taylor,
look for him to be picked off.
Well,
at least
and that's
twice.
another question. Is Jonathan Taylor playing? Because I'm not sure. You know, I didn't look it up, so I don't know if he's playing or not. If he's not playing, that would be a big difference.
Yeah, I thought he was is he not a sophomore? Yeah, he's a sophomore.
Oh, he's a sophomore. Okay, so he is playing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, my bad. I thought he was a redshirt sophomore and was eligible, so my fault.
So, and he's a true sophomore too, because that was a big thing last year. Was he broke like true freshman records and stuff like that. So
you got Miami.
I've got Miami. The team with the better defense, I think, will win in this one.
Okay, I'll take Wisconsin. All right, Academy Sports Outdoors Texas Bowl. A couple of 6-6 teams, Baylor and Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt currently a 5-point favorite. Vanderbilt, even though 6-6, they've played a lot of teams very close this year.
Yeah,
they were really in it to the end,
with Notre Dame,
down to the end with Notre Dame and some of these other schools. And I think I'll take Vanderbilt to cover the 5.
I will too. Man, Baylor almost didn't even make it to 6-6. I mean, they had a pretty tough game against Texas Tech.
And being 6-6 based on what happened to them last year is pretty good for them.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's very true. But they did beat Iowa State, or they lost Iowa State and then lost to TCU and then beat Texas Tech for the last game of their regular season. So, I mean, if they didn't beat Oklahoma State, that would have been 4 out of their last 5 games they'd have lost. So give me Vanderbilt in this. I think that Baylor just not much of a chance against them.
Okay. Friday, December 28th, Franklin American Mortgage Music City Bowl. Can the names get any longer? I mean, come on. Purdue versus Auburn. Purdue 6-6, Auburn 7-5. Auburn is a 4-point favorite. Purdue, of course, the highlight of their season, beating Ohio State by 29 points. Auburn, a very disappointing season. They came into it thinking they were going to be contenders for a national championship. Yeah. Quickly fell off the radar, and Stidham and that offense started struggling. I think Stidham regressed since he left Baylor. I mean, I don't think he's progressed at all as a quarterback. Yeah. So, I mean,
he was like the number 1 or 2 pocket passer
when he was at Baylor. He was so good, and then it's just he's become average. Yeah. You know, at best. So, Music City Bowl, that's in Nashville. Auburn's a 4-point favorite. You know, really, it's all who shows up. I mean, Purdue has Rondell Moore. I think they have guys that have something to play for. Yeah. I think Auburn's just probably going to be hanging their heads a little bit. Like it's a disappointing season for them. Yeah. Will they show up and play? I don't know. Personally, I think Purdue's going to be more fired up for this game than Auburn. Yep. But Auburn's still a really good team, and they have really good athletes, and their defense is not that bad. So
they don't have much of a running back.
Right. As much as I want to pick Purdue, I'm going to go ahead and take Auburn to cover the 4. The SEC, when you start talking about down in the middle of the SEC versus middle of the Big Ten, the SEC is definitely better in the middle of the pack. So I want to take Auburn.
Yeah, I'm just going to check here, make sure David Blau isn't like injured or anything, because I think I'm going to take I'm going to take Purdue in this. Okay. Yeah, I've liked them in the games that they've won more than I've liked Auburn. Mm-hmm. And to me, Jarrett Stidham he might get a tryout for the NFL, but man, what a disappointing career to transfer like that when he probably could have just stayed put at Baylor and done even better.
Had a better career.
Right. Yep. Which I know everything that happened, but yeah, Rondell Moore being the freshman All-American, I just think that he's more of an explosive playmaker than anything that Auburn has right now. So I'll take Purdue.
Take Purdue. Yeah. All right. West Virginia versus Syracuse, Camping World Bowl. This will be in Orlando, Florida, I believe. West Virginia is a 1.5 favorite. Of course, no Will Grier, no Cajuste. The offensive tackle. He's offensive line. I think he was a tackle. Both of them sitting out to get prepared for NFL draft.
Well, Cajuste got kind of injured in that Oklahoma game, so I'm not surprised one bit if he's ready to go, but sits out because, man, he got rolled up on in that game, and I don't know that he came back.
Dungy is a quarterback for Syracuse. He's going to be healthy. Yeah. They have a good offense. They really do. With no Will Grier, look, I don't know much about their backup. I really don't. I know West Virginia's a 1.5 favorite, but I want to take Syracuse. Yeah. Syracuse is actually a pretty good football team. Yeah. If Will Grier was playing, hands down, I'd take West Virginia, and they would probably be about a 12-point favorite. Yeah. But I'm going to take Syracuse in this.
I am too. And I think with these next 2 games that we're talking about, with this one and the next one, I think that, and I know that there's a lot of things in place about the third best Big 12 school plays the, whatever best ACC school. So I know that there are set things in place, but I promise you, the people setting these bowls and the companies, that do these bowl games got it so wrong with this game and with Iowa State versus Washington State. To me, West Virginia versus Washington State, Holgorsen against Mike Leach.
Mike Leach, yeah.
Like, Holgorsen played or coached under Mike Leach, and they both run the same kind of system. And then Iowa State versus Syracuse, basically kind of the similar in their conferences. So it just blew my mind that those two were both games that I was thinking, man, it'd be awesome if Wisconsin or West Virginia and Washington State got matched up, and it'd be awesome if Iowa State and Syracuse, and then they flipped them. It's a bummer that happened.
I mean, I see why they do, because a lot of that is like a bowl. It's almost like an NFL draft. A bowl gets to pick, okay, who do you want? They pick one, and it's a round robin. Then it comes back to whoever's the best team left, and it's so that a few bowls don't get like the best teams, and then the rest of the bowls get nobody, because these companies are paying so much money to sponsor these bowls, and they want a marquee team rather they're playing another marquee team or not.
It
sucks for the fans. It sucks for us.
Because the other, 2011, Oklahoma plays UConn. There's no storyline there. Absolutely none. But then you look at the next bowl down. Yeah, they played Connecticut in the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah, that's right.
Back in, I think it was 2011.
That's right.
It was just like they destroyed it. It was 43-20, I think. Sure. And like, you get games like that where it's just like no storyline. Build your bowls up. I mean, at least have a separate committee or something that pits these teams against each other, because man, it stinks. The fact that these two, I'm going to take Syracuse in this.
Okay.
But I'm not happy with the matchup.
Okay, next game, Valero Alamo Bowl, Iowa State versus Washington State that you mentioned. Washington State 10-2 on the season. Washington State is a 3.5-point favorite. Alamo Bowl in San Antonio. I think I got to take Washington State.
Yeah, man, I haven't really thought a ton about this one, obviously.
Alamo, I mean, that's a dome game.
Gardner Minshew, you got to wonder, is he going to be playing? I mean, he's a senior. I'd imagine he'd probably play. Man, I don't know. Montgomery going up against Washington State. Unless he's injured. I don't know. But Washington State has really good rush defense. No, sorry. Yeah, they've got not bad rush defense. I'm gonna take the more balanced team, I think. I'll go with Iowa State.
Okay.
Sorry to fumble around with that one, but I think Iowa State's a little bit more balanced as a team, defense to offense. And then with Washington State, I know their offense is really, really good. I mean, putting up 461 yards a game. But I don't know that their defense is as good as Iowa State's is.
Okay. Next game, we're on to Saturday, December 29th. This is the same day as the semifinals. Of course, we're not picking those. We told you that. We're not going to pick a couple of other big games. So let's move to the Belk Bowl, South Carolina versus Virginia. Both teams 7-5 on the season. South Carolina, 5.5-point favorite in the Belk Bowl. Yeah, I think I'll take South Carolina.
South Carolina, yep.
Yeah. They're really good. They're not a bad team. So, and I think Virginia's kind of like.
I mean, what they hung on Clemson was really impressive.
Yep. Okay. So then Nova Holmes Loans Arizona Bowl, Arkansas State versus Nevada. Arkansas State 1.5. Be truthful with you, I don't know a whole lot about either one of these teams.
Yeah.
I'll take the favorite, Arkansas State.
Well, Arkansas State can throw the ball pretty well. They've got Justice Hansen at quarterback. He's got 27 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. He's a pretty accurate passer. And then just looking down for Nevada, their quarterback, Ty Ganji, kind of a weird name, but 3,100 yards, 23 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Yeah, I like Arkansas State. I like their passing game a lot. They're hanging 463 yards a game. They're scoring 31 points a game. Nevada's scoring 32 points a game. But they lost their last one to UNLV, and Arkansas State has won their last 4. So give me Arkansas State in this one.
Okay. On to New Year's Eve, December 31st. Cincinnati versus Virginia Tech. Military Bowl presented by Northrop Grumman. Cincinnati was 10-2 on the season. Virginia Tech 6-6. Cincinnati's only losses were to Temple in overtime and to UCF. UCF beat them pretty decently.
Yeah.
But that was it. Virginia Tech has struggled 6-6 on the season.
Yeah.
They were definitely a disappointment. I think everybody down there in Blacksburg expected a lot more out of their team.
Yeah.
This is one of those deals where a group of 5 schools still fired up. I mean, Cincinnati was bad last year.
Yeah.
And it is a 180 that they've done. I mean, it is amazing. So I'm taking Cincinnati. Cincinnati's a 6-point favorite.
Yeah.
I think they win by 12 or more.
I will take them in this. Look at their the thing that jumps off the page to me is looking at their points given up per game. Cincinnati's given up 16.1, and Virginia Tech's given up 30.7. Mm-hmm. And I know that the discrepancies in Group of 5 to Power 5, but still, I mean, I just watching both teams this year, Cincinnati just looks like the better team.
Ritter is amazing at quarterback. Yeah. Okay, next game, AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Missouri 8-4 on the season against Oklahoma State, finished 6-6. Missouri currently a 9.5-point favorite. Oklahoma State has who's sitting out? They have a couple players sitting out that aren't playing. I forget exactly who it was. I think one of them's our wide receiver. I don't know the names. Anyway,
well, Wallace was a Tylan Wallace. He's a sophomore, so it
might be Hill that's sitting out too. I don't know.
He left for left to go start training for the NFL.
Okay, so no Justice
so
Hill.
Hill is gone.
So that's going to hurt their offense.
Yeah, he was almost a 1,000-yard rusher.
Missouri's pretty good. SEC
their offense
team.
is really
They're
good.
very good. 9.5. I'm going to take Missouri.
Yeah.
I think if they still had Hill, you could have a shootout, and maybe 9.5 was a big spread. But, I'm just going to go with my gut here and say Missouri covers that.
I thought 9.5 looked like a big number. I mean, it's definitely the biggest spread that we have on our list
so
today.
far, yeah.
But Missouri's offense is just so good. I mean, Drew Lock is really good. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that Taylor Cornelius, if they get behind by a lot, I don't know that they really have it in them to, be able to shoot their way back.
Yep.
So
okay. Next game, Hyundai Sun Bowl, Stanford versus Pitt. Stanford finished 8-4, Pitt 7-6. Stanford a 6.5-point favorite. Pitt played like Notre Dame close. They played some close games, but then, they got just trounced by Clemson in the ACC championship game. Stanford's one of those teams that's up and down. You don't know who's doing what. Is Bryce Love playing?
You don't know what game is or what team is going to show up.
You don't. I don't know if Bryce Love is playing.
Let me look.
For some reason, I thought I heard he wasn't. I could be wrong about that.
He's been kind of a disappointment this year.
He has. He's fallen off.
760 yards, I think.
Yeah. I think I'm going to take Pitt in the upset. I'll take Pitt in the points. I think they regroup. To my knowledge, they don't have anybody sitting out.
Yeah.
I think they're going to want a little bit of redemption after the embarrassment by Clemson. And Stanford, I just don't know about them.
Yeah.
It's just so hard to pick because you don't know. For some reason, I just feel like, Bryce Love has been battling injuries the whole season. And if he has any interest in the NFL, I just can't see him playing in this game.
Yeah, I don't see that he's out. Just don't. And this is from DonBest.com. They usually have, they're pretty good at putting up a pretty good list of players that are out. And South Carolina now, they've got quite a bit out. Just looking at the next team up. So, but we've already picked that one.
Okay.
So anyway,
I got Pitt. Who do you want?
Yeah, man, it's tough. This one is probably the toughest one in our list, just because Stanford. I haven't been able to get Stanford right for 2 straight years.
Yeah.
Don't know.
Yeah.
Have no clue. So this is just going to be a coin flip. What's the point spread?
Stanford 6.5.
Give me Pitt to make it a close game.
Okay. Next game, the Redbox Bowl. You want to rent some movies? Michigan State versus Oregon. Michigan State finished 7-5, Oregon 8-4. Oregon is a 2.5-point favorite. Michigan State plays tremendous defense. I don't know if Herbert's playing because he's going to the NFL, so I don't know if he's going to play or not. I'd be shocked if he does. It's not really that big of a marquee game.
Yeah.
And with Michigan State's defense, I think Oregon has struggled at times, even with him in there. If he's not playing,
well, he was injured last game.
Okay. So you know what? I doubt he even plays.
He's probable Monday.
I'm gonna act as if he's not playing. I'm gonna take Michigan State for the upset over Oregon.
See, I wanted to take Oregon at first, but now seeing that Herbert, was injured in his last game. Now it's been almost a month since those last games are.
But he's projected to be a top half of the first round pick.
Yeah.
He's projected to be the first quarterback taken. Would you want to risk that?
Yeah.
You're not playing in a semifinal. You're not playing in the Rose Bowl.
That's true, but that's also Joel Klatt came out this week and said something really good. Was like, the standard shouldn't be you're sitting out automatically if you're eligible for the draft. That's one more game for you to show tape, to show NFL teams that might, you could move up a few spots in the draft. You could make money.
I agree with that if you are projected second round or down, because you can increase. When you're projected to be a top 10 pick, there's very little upside. You might move up one or two spots. But then if you bust your knee, you could be a fifth round pick.
But think of not just what you can do for yourself, but say you sit out and 10 other guys, that teams are loving, have just monstrous games, and then they move into those spots.
I don't think that makes that big of a difference, because these scouts are not going to base it on one. They've seen you play your entire tape, and the combine is going to matter more than I think your last game or bowl game.
I don't think the combine matters as much, because you're only going to throw one time. You get one time to throw through some progressions, as opposed to one last game, 4 quarters of a game that you can go out and show. Real experience matters. And
well, like I said, I agree with that. If you're trying to get into the draft, or you're trying to do something with one last game,
I think it can even help top picks. It just, I don't know. It unless you get hurt, there's really nothing that you have to lose.
But that's the question: the risk of getting hurt.
That's but the thing. Any game you could get hurt.
Sure.
The first game of your NFL career. I've known guys that have gotten hurt and never played a snap because they got hurt in preseason. So, anyway.
Okay. So you took Oregon?
I'm going to take Michigan State.
Okay.
I wanted to take Oregon, but just seeing that he might not even be playing.
Okay.
I don't think that if Oregon's at full strength, I don't think that Michigan State has enough offensively. Brian Lewerke just
I agree with that.
He's not a quarterback that's going to keep you in a shootout. So.
Yeah.
But I'll take Michigan State only because of the uncertainty of who's playing for Oregon.
Okay, next game, San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl. Northwestern versus Utah. Utah 7.5-point favorite. Northwestern got beat by Ohio State pretty good in the Big Ten championship game. Utah a little bit up and down there. They've been playing the last part of the season with the backup quarterback, even though he's been playing really well. Don't know about this one. Northwestern 8-5, Utah 9-4. I really would not want to have to. I wouldn't put money on this game.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. I think 7.5.
Is Thorson playing?
I don't know. Yes, I believe he is. So that 7.5 is, I think, kind of big, because this could be a close game. I think I have to take Northwestern in the points. I won't be surprised if Utah wins the game, but that's a lot. 7.5 is going to be tough to cover in this game.
Yeah, but Utah's defense is really good. They're holding opponents to 18 points or 18.5 points a game, and I know that Bowser kid for Northwestern is just a hoss. He'll be a serviceable NFL back.
Yeah.
But Utah, they're really stingy on rush yards at 101 yards a game. Give me Utah in this one. Okay. I know 7.5 is quite a bit. A lot of these games, you see any more than 6, and you think, man, that's quite a bit, just because of the matchups and everything. So, but I like Utah in this one.
Okay, Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, NC State versus Texas A&M. NC State finished 9-3. Texas A&M 8-4. Texas A&M 6.5-point favorite in this game. Texas A&M, I think, is better. Yeah. I mean, I've liked NC State all year long, but they also play in the ACC, and let's face it, ACC is not near the conference the SEC is, and it just shows you there with the records, 9-3 versus 8-4, but the 8-4 team is ranked 19th, and NC State's unranked. Yeah. And I think it's, look at who Texas A&M's played. They played Clemson to a 2-point game. They beat LSU in that 7 overtime. So they lost to Alabama, of course, but I think Texas A&M is just a better team. Yeah. I think they can cover 6.5.
I think they are better too. NC State was one of those teams that we thought would just kind of be a giant killer this year. We were really kind of hoping for them to beat Clemson at one point. But I don't know. A&M, they can do a lot for the future of their program in winning a big game here. Not a big game, but winning this bowl game and kind of jump starting next year for them. They have a really good recruiting class coming in next year. They will have a 2-year or a second-year coach who's won a national championship. They could do a lot for that program if they won this game. They had the 7 overtime game that was constantly talked about for a week, 2 weeks, and so recruits are kind of seeing this. And here in the middle of the country, they've been talked about quite a bit. So they could do a lot for a big win. I think they come out more fired up than NC State does. So give me Texas A&M in this one.
Okay. Let's move on to New Year's Day. There's 2 games here we're going to pick. The Outback Bowl, Mississippi State versus Iowa. Both teams finished 8-4. Mississippi State a 7-point favorite. I've picked Iowa like several times, and they've lost. Iowa, to me, has one of the best defenses in the country. They have no offense. They just have zero offense. Yeah. But Mississippi State, in games they've played this year, against really good defenses, the games have been like 7-3 or whatever, or 6-0 or what. I mean, I just don't know, but I have to take Mississippi State.
I was laughing because how you feel about Iowa is the same way I feel about Mississippi State. Okay. They'll play incredible. I'll pick them the next week because I've overreacted to that game, and then they'll just kind of puke down their leg. And I was I said at the beginning of the year that they were my dark horse for the SEC. Yep. And Nick Fitzgerald, to me, I was putting him up there in like the Heisman watch list, and he's thrown for 1,615 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions.
Yeah, he doesn't throw the ball very well at all.
That's a big-time Heisman contender
all he can do is run the ball.
He runs the ball really, really well. But I think even with that, 52% completion percentage. That's not good at all. No. And I haven't really seen his rushing. I just kind of lost. They kind of lost my attention there midway through the season, but I do think offensively they are much better than Iowa in a game like this, and they're only giving up 12 points per game. I mean, so their defense is really good too. So good defenses going against each other. Give me the better offense, and I know Iowa scores 31 points a game, but
their defense scores a lot of those points. Though.
Right, they do, and let's face it, it's harder to come by points to me in the SEC than it is for the division that Iowa's in. So, I will take Mississippi State.
Okay. Next game is the Citrus Bowl, Kentucky versus Penn State. Both teams 9-3. Penn State 6.5-point favorite. I'm going to take Penn State. They had a really magical season. Yeah. All the way up through there. They ran into some roadblocks at the end of the season. It continues. Penn State's just the better team. Honestly, I would like to see Kentucky win. I think it'd be great for their program, winning a bowl game, beating Penn State. Yeah. I just don't think they can, so I got to take Penn State.
Well, and Kentucky doesn't have much of a passing game.
Oh, they're horrible. Terry Wilson, is that his name? The quarterback?
Yeah.
Transfer from Oregon. I mean, wow. No wonder he transferred.
Yeah. Benny Snell is an incredible talent, but I think that's about as much as they have offensively.
Yeah.
So I'll take Penn State in this one.
Okay.
More balanced team.
Okay. That's it. That was the last game.
I think that is it.
So the rest of them we will pick in another video. When
we'll do all the New Year's Six games. We'll do the
and the
we'll do the conference football playoff or the college football playoff. So look out for that.
So that's it for the bowls. The rest of them anyway.
Yeah.
And if we still have some games being played this week that we didn't pick that I already did in the other video, go back and watch those. As of right now, the Saturday game, the first group of bowl games were played on Saturday. I was 4-1 on my picks on those, so we have some more coming up. It's Sunday right now. I think the next games are Tuesday.
Yeah,
is the next game.
Just imagine I was what were you?
4-1.
4-1. Just imagine I was 3-2. That's probably what I would have been.
And honestly,
hey, I did pick Fresno State, and they got a nice win.
And the only game that I missed was Utah State, North Texas. I picked North Texas,
and they got just destroyed.
But they had like 9 guys sit out.
Yeah,
and I didn't know that when I picked the game because honestly, I mean, I'm not backtracking.
We should have remembered that
loss,
Utah State's offense is crazy good.
Yeah, yeah. So anyway, that's it. We'll be back we'll have 2 more videos this year. We'll have one for the rest of the bowl games and the semifinals. Then we'll have one for the championship game. And then we might do a year-ender to go back and look at what we predicted as far as the conferences, and then maybe look at how they finished or something like that. So, and then that's it until next football season. We'll just let you know YouTube keeps denying us to get monetized, and it's kind of getting frustrating. And we put a lot of time into this and stuff, and don't know what we're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I've went back.
So
when
I tell you nobody pays us to do this, literally nobody pays us to do this.
Yeah.
So we do it for fun.
Yeah.
That's kind of why we don't ever. I mean, nobody can guarantee a pick, but we don't sit on and come up with algorithms or anything like that. We just use our brain power and our phone power, and
we shoot it ourselves. I make all the graphics, he makes the music. I mean, none of it is taken from anybody. It's not copyrighted or stolen. It's just, but I don't know, YouTube thinks we're using somebody else's content for some reason, and we're not. So I don't get it. So anyway, one other
that's why you got to go subscribe.
Subscribe
Tell
and
your
like
friends
us on
to subscribe.
Get on Twitter. And a little bit of other piece of news that Shaun doesn't know yet, so I'll be surprising him right now. I've had several betting companies in the past week reach out to us and wanting us to be part of their websites and making picks. So we'll keep you updated on that. We haven't agreed to anything with anybody yet, but you might be seeing us in other places.
If they pay us more than YouTube, then sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, that's it. Enjoy the bowl games, and check back maybe next week, Monday or Tuesday next week, and we'll pick the rest of them.
I'm just kidding about the money. We do this for fun.
Yeah, and let us know. We've done 1 live video so far. We might try to do some more of those.
We might do a reaction to like the playoffs or something.
Maybe the national championship game, like after the game or something. Or maybe we'll do a live video before the game and then a reaction. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So, all right, thanks for watching, and have a Merry Christmas.